Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. And boy, we've been having some fun. We talk a lot about sports. We were talking about the Super Bowl last segment, but in reference to that is the same process between now and the Super Bowl for investing decisions as well. You gain some knowledge. In football, it'd be a playbook, and then you go practice it. In the markets, stock market or options market, whatever it is that you're trading, you have to gain the knowledge, which is those investing classes that we've been doing, and then building that skill and how to transfer that knowledge into skill to make smart investing decisions. And boy, we had a lot of people texting into this investing class to get some seats for this. Congratulations to those of you that did get set up. For those of you that missed it, make sure to text the word investing to the number 210-210, and that's for 2 seats for this free class. A lot of people bring their spouse with, so if you do your financial decisions together, or maybe just making sure that somebody is set on what's going on with your accounts, text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats for this class on making smarter investing decisions. And Al, as we were talking about that in the last segment, I was kind of thinking about our podcast. We have a lot of people that's been listening to our podcast. By the way, it's live as we do the show here on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. So check that out. Also, we're live on YouTube. They say we have a face for radio, but I'll let you guys make that decision. We're some handsome fellows. But we were talking about in the last segment with football, and I want to kind of give the reference or the analogy in like construction or a mechanic, because as you know, I've been talking about this water heater. I got this pesky old water heater that started to leak. And, before, in my younger days, I would have been like, okay, can you grab that thingamabob so I can turn that little knobby dob on that thingy, and then that way I can take that BFH and make sure that I can unscrew that that hexagon thing, right? And that's kind of where a lot of people start with fixing things. And as you start gaining that knowledge about what those are, you actually say, okay, now it's a wrench, it's a hammer, it's a screwdriver, and that's a nut and a bolt, and that's what you're now you know what you're talking about. But to be able to do that work, it actually requires some skills. You can talk about it. I mean, that's kind of what I do. I like to talk about it. I can tell you how to do that, but Can I do it? Heck no. So I'm going to make sure I get a professional to help me out with that. Somebody that knows, has that knowledge, but that can also do the skill part of it, actually replace that water heater. And that's the same thing in the markets as well. Us as the public, they don't train people, as you said in the last segment, how to do this in schools, how to do this in college. And, where you get your information is usually the wrong thing, especially if you're getting your financial information from YouTube or a book, because it's, first of all, it's outdated, but also there's always that 15-year-old kid in their mom's basement that's saying, follow my strategy and you're going to make $1 billion tomorrow. We all know that's not likely. So what we do here at Online Trading Academy is we have professional instructors that train people how to trade and invest. You have the people that know what they're doing, but also can relay that to everyday people that probably call a stock a stick, or a Forex currency pair, who knows what. So how do you help people start to understand that the knowledge is there, gaining that knowledge, and then transferring that skill in the stock market to make those smart investing decisions, especially if they're looking for an income strategy?
Yeah, I think the end result of everything we're talking about is confidence, having the confidence to be able to do this and know that you're using something that gives you the opportunity in 3 different directions, by the way, to have the potential to have a profit. And also, one of the things that I think keeps a lot of people away from doing this and is impacting negatively their confidence is the fact that you're going to have some losses. Nobody is going to be 100% right, but the key is, and the way to succeed is to manage those losses. We teach our students how to lose, which sounds kind of strange.
Well, Al, the key there is to keep those losses small. I mean,
you have to do that. Yeah. If you have a small loss, it can never become a big loss, and that's okay. So you want to have more wins than losses, but the real key is to have the rewards be bigger than what you're risking. Yeah. So, but here's the way to do this and the way to get that confidence, and we've been talking about the addition of skill with knowledge. You have to have that combination because knowledge really is of very little value unless you know how to use it. The skills, how do you do that? The way that we help our students build skill is what we're going to call an experiential learning strategy. That's hands-on. You never really learn to do something until you actually try to do it. You're never going to learn to drive in a parked car, right?
Correct.
So you have to get the car moving. Well, the same thing is true in trading and investing. You're really never going to learn how to do it unless you start doing it. But when you do that, do it with somebody that's watching you that has already proven their success. We have maybe about 40 instructors who trade these different markets, have been doing it for years. Many maybe on the floor of the Chicago Board of Options, on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, trading futures, professional Forex traders, hedge fund managers. These are the people that are going to help you go through that process of building the skills. And then it becomes repetitive, but repetitive with somebody who can give you some guidance if you need it, answer questions if you have it. So that's all part of our education strategy, is to provide the knowledge and then the skill building process, which is really the key. If you don't have that part of it, then you're probably not going to succeed.
Yeah, that's a great point. As you were explaining that the market and making your decisions, it can be repetitive because you're doing almost the same thing over and over, just different stocks or whatever that may be, and you have to have steps within that.
Correct.
And this is a terrible analogy, but everybody does this, unfortunately, is people drive every day. And that's a repetitive thing. You know, you like you said, you can't drive in park, but you put it in drive and then you go forward. And everybody has that time where they've drove and they're like, boy, I don't even remember getting this far.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
that's right.
that happens to most people because it's something that you do all the time. So it's almost like you can do it in your sleep. In the markets, it's just a repetitive thing. And the more and more times you do that, it just becomes second nature. And that's that skill part of it.
Yeah, I got to make one point there before you go off of that, because repetitive, you can repeat things that are wrong,
Correct.
and that becomes your behavior. So when you're going through that repetitive process, you want to make sure that you have somebody there guiding you, making sure that you're repeating the proper things so that the behavior that you create and develop is really going to be beneficial for you.
I'm glad you brought that up. I want to cover that here in just a moment. I think that's a great comment and great point you made there. But we have a lot of people that are listening that want to be able to do some of this stuff. They want to build those skills. They want to build that repetitive strategy, but just don't know where to start.
Sure.
And these are 2-hour classes. I mean, let's be real. 2 hours of your day, 2 hours of 1 week. How many, Al, can you do some math for me? How many hours are there in 1 week?
That would be 24 times 7.
It would be 168 hours per week.
There you go.
If you're listening right now, if you think 2 hours of your time is worth it with your financial future, hopefully making smart investing decisions moving forward with these investing classes, I want to invite you to one of these classes to take the time and see what this is all about. This is a thing they don't teach in school, and we've been having a lot of people comment on that. Boy, I wish I would have knew this earlier. But you know what? It's never too late. Now is that time. So right now, and I'm going to invite you to this class. We have these classes during the day, also in the evening, but also during the weekend, so anybody can attend. It's only 2 hours of your time. Text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats for this class. When you do that, you're going to get a text back with a day, so you can choose your date. And we'll also make sure we get you a call. That way you can attend on the time that works the best for you. Only 2 hours of your day. Text the word investing to the number 210-210 right now. So, Al, as you mentioned, it takes the correct practice. You can practice, as you said, all you want. And I mean, this is kind of like a golf thing. If you are golfing every set, your swing is wrong, you're not going to get any better. And that's probably for a lot of our listeners. But if you have a coach that can guide you through that, then you're making the right swing, and that's a repetitive action, just swinging. And that's what the key with golf is, doing the same thing over and over and over correctly. Talk about how our instructors are trained to train our students to do that in the stock market.
Well, first of all, their backgrounds, a lot of these people, as I mentioned earlier, maybe worked on the floor of the Chicago Board of Options, trading options professionally every day, or on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, trading in the futures market. These guys trade all these different assets. They do that on a regular basis, and they also go through our classes. So we kind of educate them on how our strategy is going to be used, how to use it properly. But these guys are in the markets. They know what's going on. They do this on a daily basis, and they're willing, fortunately for us and for our students, to devote some time to teaching our classes. We fly people in from all over the world to teach these classes in our different centers. And these guys are the best that are out there. They are successfully trading, and even better than that, they love teaching. They love helping people, and
Well, that's a gift, Al, to be able to teach a subject to most people that have no clue how it works. That's a gift to be able to do that.
And the way they do it, they make it very entertaining, very interesting. I have never seen anyone come out of one of our classes and say, just as you said earlier, I wish I wish I'd done this earlier, or I didn't realize what I didn't know. And we've got people that have been trading for 10, 20 years that come out of these classes saying, you know what, I thought I knew what I was doing, and apparently I didn't. Because
Remember, that's the knowledge that they have. So people think they have the knowledge, which is great. A lot of people
Correct.
do. But being able to do it is two different things. And that's the big thing I think Online Trading Academy really excels at. Is
Absolutely.
identifying that. And once you understand that, then making those smart investing decisions.
Yeah, and then once you have the knowledge and once you have built the skill, then the other thing that you have to take care of is you, because your emotions are going to be the biggest enemy that you have in being successful. So how do you control your emotions? And you kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier when you talked about a step-by-step process. If you follow a set of rules, a step-by-step process based on rules that have been fine-tuned, developed and fine-tuned to get you to the point where, as I mentioned in that first segment, you're identifying the proper entry point, which is the most important. That proper entry point price-wise is going to determine the quality of your protection, your risk management, and also the amount of profit you can make. These are all things that we teach our students, but emotions have to be controlled. You also use the football analogy, and I think one of the biggest things that will give a team the opportunity to succeed is having a plan that they follow that also has some flexibility to it. So oftentimes you'll see, and this happened with the Vikings, with the biggest comeback in football history. The first half, the team that played the first half looked like a totally different team that played the second half. It's because they changed things. You have to be flexible to be able to address what's happening in the economy and address what's happening in the markets. That's the flexibility comes from learning how the markets function and how to take advantage of what they're doing, regardless of what they're doing and how they're being impacted by what's happening in the economy.
Yeah, that's a great point. You have to adapt to the market conditions. And that's one of the things I think Online Trading Academy has really excelled at. Over 25 like you how to trade and invest, because you have to adapt. Otherwise, old strategies don't always work. New things happen. I was talking about like mechanics. Mechanics are totally different now than what they were even 10, 20 years ago. Now there's a lot more technology, so they have to adapt and learn the knowledge and then start to build that skill. We got to do that same thing in the markets, because markets change. I mean, it seems like almost every day, which is a great thing here at Online Trading Academy, because our education and our strategies are following the market. So we're doing what the market tells us to do, not what it told us to do 20 years ago.
Right.
So to see what these strategies are, to see how to make these smart investing decisions and remove emotions from your investing, we have these investing classes to introduce you to these different techniques and concepts on how to do that. These are knowledge classes. Then we teach you, okay, here's what it takes to build the skills to make those smart investing decisions. So get your phones ready. If you're driving, you might want to pull over. I'm going to give you an opportunity, and I want to invite you to one of these classes. Al teaches these. I teach these as well. It's a great time. Only 2 hours of your time on how to make smart investing decisions. Text the word investing to the number 210-210. That's text investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats for this class and a quick start kit, which will help you get started right away. Text investing to the number 210-210. Al, coming up next, I want to make sure our listeners stay tuned here, retirement strategies and how to remove those emotions and almost take that making money component out of that to follow your plan. This is Josh and Al. We'll be right back.